I recently posted a video of some range time with this MP 225 grain bullet and my 1911. Those bullets were loaded with 4.5 grains of E3 and also a ladder load of 5.5 to 6.7 grains of unique. I ran into a few feeding failures, and so I mentioned that I was going to reduce the overall cartridge length and do a light polish on the feeding ramp. Well, I did load another 75 rounds and they are shorter, but I did not polish the ramp. I may do that in the future, but I decided I kind of want to only mess with one thing at a time, and I got busy, so it never got done. For today, I've loaded the bullets 50 thousandths shorter. Previously, they were loaded to 1.222, just like this bullet here. And now I have them loaded to 1.172. I settled on that length because I drove the bullet down until the case mouth was right at the edge of where the shank and the radius of the nose meet, so right at that very edge right there. I'm sure it doesn't need to be quite this short, but I want to see how these perform, and I may end up changing them to a longer length after I see how these do. I won't show you all the shooting today, but I will show some. Here are the 15 rounds loaded with 4.5 grains of E3.
874, 880, 866, 881, 877, 881, 874, 876, 886, 874, 872, 876, 875.
Alliant E3 is marketed as a shotgun powder, but if you've seen some of my previous videos, you might know that I ended up with a few pounds during the powder shortages a few years ago. You won't find any load data for this other than for shotgun, but I found that it burns very clean and it performs very similar to Red Dot, but maybe just a tiny hair bit faster. In my last video with these bullets, I tried 4.5 grains of E3, and that gave me a velocity of 730 feet per second. Those 15 shots you just saw me shoot were only 50 thousandths of an inch shorter, but the velocity increased by an average of 146 feet per second. I knew seating the bullet deeper would increase the pressure and therefore the velocity a bit, but that was more than I had expected. Today's average was 876 feet per second, with an extreme spread of 20 and a standard deviation of 5. After I shot those 15, I shot 60 rounds loaded with various amounts of unique. Here are the last 10 rounds of those shots.
972.
All in all, I shot 75 shots, and the only problem I had was with that very last round. The shorter overall length did seem to help with the functioning. Here you can see the target, and as you can see, this bullet mostly shot a one whole group. Here's the numbers from the last range trip with the larger rounds. And here's those velocities again, but with a few of today's numbers added as red dots. As you can see, seating the bullet deeper did cause an increase in the velocities. The increase for unique was not as drastic as it was for E3, which is a faster burning powder, but it did still happen. And here's the info for today's unique loads. I loaded one at 5.5 grains because I figured it would put me in the mid 800s and I wanted to test it. And then I ladder loaded 5.9 to 6.3 grains in 1/10 of a grain increments. 5.9 to 6.3 had ranged from 889 to 955 feet per second with a longer round, and I really wanted to find a load in that 900 to 930 feet per second area. I happened to get it with 5.9 grains. All the loads gave a standard deviation around that 10 to 15 mark. For my next trip, I plan to load up about 50 rounds at 5.8 grains of unique. I'm also going to increase the overall length to by about 15 thousandths of an inch, I think. I think for the next range trip, I'm also going to test a few different loads of E3. I was hoping to keep that lighter load in the low 700s, so I think I'll try a few loads between probably 3.5 and to 4.5 grains of E3. Also, I think it's time to start testing the hollow point version of this bullet, so be looking for that in the next couple of weeks as well. Oh, while I've still got you, I want to mention a channel that you all need to check out. There's a guy that goes by JCM45 here on YouTube. JCM has been very active in the YouTube reloading community for some time. You'll find his contributions in the comments section of many videos across several channels, and he always contributes a lot of knowledge and experience. Well, he's decided to expand it a bit, and he is now making a few videos of his own, and he's doing an outstanding job of it. I'll put a link to his channel in the description to this video. Please go check him out. You'll be glad you did. Well, that's all I've got for today. Thanks again for watching, and God bless.